Hi, welcome back to the Weekly Why. This week I want to address a little bit the issue Yom Kippur and some of the ideas there, since that will be following this Saturday, so it seems like the most appropriate topic to discuss. The Dubno Maggid, he was a sage, mystic from the 1700s living in Europe, and he would often give parables as relating to many Torah ideas. So one of the ones he talks about is a princess who married into a poor peasant family. And they had no idea that she was a princess. They didn't know anything about her royal lineage. They just thought she was a peasant as well. She was very miserable. She was very unhappy. And so she called upon her father. She sent a messenger for her father, who was the king, to come pay her a visit. And he came, and when he came, people were treating him with such reverence and such respect. And as he left, she grabbed his cloak and she was crying, please don't leave, please don't leave. And he said to her, I don't understand. It seems like they're treating you very well here. They're giving you everything you could possibly ask. I just don't see how it's so horrible. And she said, no, don't you see? They're only acting this way because you're here right now. The moment you leave, they're going to be mean and cruel to me once again. And so the Dubno Maggid connects this to the issue of Ne'ilah, which is the finishing service on Yom Kippur. And so it's certainly not a flattering imagery that he gives us in terms of that the Jewish people, when in the image or in the presence of the king, are acting like the peasant's family, are acting very nice and very good. And then as soon as the king is gone, quote unquote gone, in other words, after Yom Kippur, we're back to our old antics. So it seems like certainly a very harsh thing to say, but I want to address a little bit in terms of why Yom Kippur is so important and why the end is so important and why exactly is the connection between this and Rosh Hashanah. So logically speaking, you would think that Yom Kippur would come first. After all, Rosh Hashanah is the new year. Does it make a lot of sense to start the new year, make these goals, know where you're going, and then only a week later, 10 days later, start repenting? It seems like you've gone into the new year, sullied by the last year's sins, and then only a week later, 10 days later, you're doing tshuva, you repented for that. So the sages say the reason for that is that we need to have Rosh Hashanah first because for a couple of reasons. One, Rosh Hashanah is all about kingship. It's all about establishing God and recognizing God, I should say, as our king. And so you can't really have any matter of repentance. You can't really have the reverence that we're supposed to have and the real feeling of repenting and the tshuva we need unless we fully understand in front of whom we're standing. So we can't stand there beating our chest saying, I did this and I did this and I did this, if we don't fully understand who we're standing in front of and where it is that we want to be going. So the important thing is to understand where our priorities are, where we want to be going, and only then can we establish for ourselves what it is that we need to be doing in order to get there. So that's the rationale and why the ideas the sages say why we have Rosh Hashanah before Yom Kippur. And in terms of the Dubno Maggid, why this is such a powerful imagery at the end of Yom Kippur, he's saying that we really never take advantage of the fact is that on one hand, we recognize the presence of the king, during this period, the 10 days in Yom Kippur, we really appreciate that. And yet afterwards, we seem to be back to our old antics. What he's saying is certainly this is such a great opportunity, and the power and the awe and the holiness of the day is such that we should really this year try to take advantage of the fact and try to really make a mental note for ourselves at the end of it, as we hear the shofar blowing at the end, to try to say, okay, I know in front of whom I'm standing, and I know where I want to be going, and I know what it is I need to be doing, and hopefully at the end of Yom Kippur we can have the clarity and we can work on that. Because it just doesn't come to us. We actually have to work on that and work to try to be in the right frame of mind, not just for then, but for the next day and for the next year after that. So that's something we definitely need to work on ourselves and have in mind over Yom Kippur, and not just how hungry we are. Okay? So that's it. A very, very meaningful fast to all of us, and a Shabbat Shalom, and God bless.